Welcome to the Bad Bitch Revolution. I'm Selene Devereaux, your host. We will be diving into all of the things surrounding challenging societal norms, inspiring positive change for us to live unapologetically without shame. This podcast was inspired by my own unique journey, walking through the exact same thing and being like, fuck you, I don't want to do that just because I should. I'm so excited that you chose to listen, and I can't wait for you to get into it with us.
Hi guys, I am here with the beautiful Casey Brown today. We're going to talk about how to be a bad bitch in your career because you cannot be a baddie without a good career goal,
Mhm.
whatever that looks like for you. I mean, listen, I'm not a 9 to 5 girly, so I'm trying to get out of it. But if you are a 9 to 5 girly or boy, whatever, just we're gonna give you some tips today.
Mhm.
Casey, tell all the beautiful people how amazing you are and what makes you so amazing.
Okay, so amazing. I've been all over. It feels like the East Coast. I have family in DC. I've lived in DC. I claim West Virginia. I also claim Atlanta, and I'm currently in North Carolina. So it's giving you all of the details there.
You're just everywhere. You're like all of these places
Like,
belong to
all of the
me.
above. It's all of the above here. And now I'm like, what, like West Coast a little bit. I'm like, yeah, let's go over there. Stop over there. I currently an assistant project manager, and I work on data center like industrial size projects and construction manufacturing. They kind of call it both. Just depends. And let's see, I have a blog, crazywellcasey.com. It is giving all of the creative release that I need and so many other people need. And so, yeah,
Yes,
I do.
yes, I love that. Um, you said that you were a project manager, so you would be able to manage projects for me. Listen, I'm trying to figure out who to hire once I can hire people because I'm like, I don't want to do it. I
Please
don't want to.
outsource.
And everybody's just so excited. And I was like, you guys, also, I don't care what you do. Just do it. Like,
Oh, and also I'm a mom, so like if you hear a background, that's one of them.
yeah, I've got every single podcast episode without fail. My cat Loki, when I get on the phone or a call, she's here and she cries because she wants pets. And I'm like,
Mm.
but baby, you don't, like, she's pawing at my hand. She's so cute. I know, baby. But it's just, you'll hear her probably. She's
Mm.
loud. She's a loud crier. Um, but like so I have a community for writers that I had started, and obviously like it's my server, so like I'm in charge. And like, so the mods I have in there, they were like, can we do, I don't care, do whatever you want.
Things,
I was
right?
like, why do people keep letting me be in these positions of leadership? Like, I'm not good at this. And like, they were trying to do this workshop. I'm so proud of them. I'm so excited. And they were like, "Oh, for our test, we'll do it for free." Not free. And they were like, "No, but it's our test. Not free. Okay, we're
Mm-hmm.
not doing things for free, ma'am."
Learning, exactly.
Yes. So I said, I was like, "Here are your options." I was like, "You can do it for $27." Or I was like, "I'm even open to you doing a donation base
Mm.
where the minimum is $10." That's what they went with because they were still trying to do free. But you know what? That's fine. That's fine. But then we like, I mean, they were all like, "Okay, well, what about this?" And I was like, fine, I guess I'll be the
Bro.
leader and I'll set up the Stripe, and because it's technically like underneath my LLC. So I'm just like, I don't want to do this, owners.
Mhm.
Like, can you be the boss? And they were like, I don't know how to do it. That's fine. That's what I'm here for. I was
Right.
like, you guys do the workshop, and I like she sent me the copy, and I was like, what I love most about the copy is that you didn't mention me once.
It's giving like I'll be behind the scenes. You do you. Yes.
Please don't reach out to me because I have no answers to your question.
Right. I know my ministry.
Yes. I was like, I don't know. I was like, I know what they're doing. It sounds fantastic. They're both going to be amazing at it. Me, I have the vocabulary of a third grader. Okay. Like, I think fuck is like the best word in the entire world. So,
The first
like, what do you mean? you're going to teach outlining. What do you mean you're going to teach character development? I was like, I'm supposed to do that as I'm writing this book? Oh, I was like, well, we got a lot of problems.
Like, I don't think you know what you're working with right now.
I was like, I'm a writer, but I'm not a writer, you know?
We're stepping into our light, okay?
Yeah.
Spotlight. It's the spotlight for me. You need it.
You know, and Grammarly is so disrespectful to me because sometimes it'll say things and it's like, bitch, do you even speak English? Because
Like, let's give you
I
some
don't know
more.
what you mean.
Okay, tip.
I was like, stop being a hater. Like, just fix it. Let's not be like, did you mean this? I don't know, maybe, but if you say so, I guess it sounds right.
I love it. It's so authentic. So raw. Give me.
I have no idea. What do you mean?
All right.
So how did you get into like the career advancements and like how to move through that system? Because personally, it took me a while to like understand negotiating when getting a new job and to like even have the confidence in that, applying to jobs that like I meet 90%, but like there's one or two bullet points I don't meet and like just kind of tailoring my resume. Um, but I think it's such good information because people, my mom especially, they're always like, you don't stay at jobs for very long. I give these people 2 years, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And that's 2 years too long sometimes because
True, sometimes.
when you think about it, because when I look at leaving jobs to go to other, like the amount of pay increase that I got was significantly higher. So it's like, okay, you guys gave me a $2,000 raise last year. You gave me a $2,000 raise this year. I could probably go somewhere else and get a $8,000 to $10,000 raise.
Mm-hmm.
Like, tell us, how to be that.
Listen, all the things. So I'm a big believer in, since like small age, in education and finding the resource that you need from especially things like the public library, right? And so that's usually my first go-to is like somebody's book, somebody's workshop, somebody's like tell me the things, right? And as I progressed in my career, in fact, in just shortly after college, I was introduced to the 48 Laws of Power. Are you familiar?
No, what is?
Girl, get into it. Yes. Okay, so the 48 Laws of Power, the idea that, let me tell you the things. 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene, one of the classic business / political leaning books. And it gives like historical references, both present and past, like experiences, like people saying, okay, the number one rule number one was never outshine the master, right? And when you talk about never outshining the master, it's things like don't be a know-it-all, don't get out there. So it gave two examples. One was I think it was like King Louis somebody, like the I don't know, 14th, let's go with it, right? And he has somebody in his court is like, oh, I'm going to throw a party for King Louis. And it's going to be everything. We're having fireworks. We're going to walk through the gardens. It's giving like hors d'oeuvres and all the things. And what happened was it's this huge thing. And he's thinking it's going to be like, yes, he's going to be like so impressed. No, King Louis was like, absolutely not. Get him out of here. He is outshining me. Can't have that in my court. And so he's like excommunicated and all the things. The other example is the like correct way to do it, right? So he talks about like Galileo, I think is the example he used. And Galileo goes and he's like, hey, I don't know, Princess Isabella or what have you. I was just looking at the stars, and it just seems like this moon here is just a direct relation to you and your heritage and your lineage, and I'm going to name it after you, and it's going to be incredible. And they're like, okay, here, give the coins, all the coins for the moon and all the things. Like, I'm paraphrasing greatly, so like don't in the comments they're gonna be like, no, it wasn't that person, and who's Isabella? But anyway, you get the drift, right? Exactly. so he's like, so he's like, do this, don't do that, right? All through the book, and it's 40. So as I progressed in my career, I said, these laws keep coming up. There's got to be more resources and similar things that are just kind of like explaining how I do this thing called work, right? Because I have that problem. I was always the know-it-all, the one who's always like, yeah, I can do that important report, what have you, and then I'd come in and everybody look at me like, who's the new girl doing too much, And so that's when I like kind of like would, I don't know, feverishly journal and put things together, and I'm putting all the pieces together, and it's very much like the crazy wall, where it's just like, okay, an article here, a lead there. What's this location have to do with this one? Let me find all the resources, kind of put the strings together, the dots together, right? And I started connecting the dots, and I was like, there's a lot here. And negotiating, I recently made a post about negotiating skills, and the author, I think her name is maybe Yasmin David with like two D's, right? I'm so unprepared, but it's giving, it's raw. But anyhow, go to the website, crazywallcasey.com, and find this article about negotiation skills. And this book, I tell you, I'm like, highlighter, 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 and I'm not one of the highlighting people. Like, I'm like, no, the pristine book, no.
Yeah.
I was highlighting that sucker. I'm like, yes, okay. I'm getting ready for my performance review. And I'm looking through these, like, this guidance and all these information pieces. And I'm like, yes, okay. I do have multiple kinds of power. I do have power, not just like position power, like as a manager, but also resources like social power, right? Like, I know a bunch of people, and this is why they want to keep me around. I can like build these relationships, and so I feel like that's how people become like baddies at work, is connecting the dots, using your resources, especially books. Ugh, love a good book. And let me get into this. Okay, so if you're not a book person, that's fine. I'm not like a physical book kind of person. I'm like audiobook. So like on the way to work, I'm like, okay, I get a podcast going, but then I also, because it's a long commute, but then I also grab like an audiobook. I'm like, okay, yes, bookmark, bookmark. So please get into it.
Yeah, my commute is from my bedroom to here. Like that's my
It's
commute.
giving. I'm gonna
I
listen on like at the breakfast
you,
table.
listen, the way that like some of these recruiters are just like, oh, we have this wonderful position, and I'm like, dude, that sounds like a great opportunity, but one, you can't get me in an office ever again, and two, like that is way too far from where I live. So even if I was open to being in an office, I'm not driving that far. Like what?
Mhm.
I was like, and people are like, well, how much money? I was like, you guys, a lot of people can be bought. I was like, but I am unguiltable. Like you
Mhm.
can't guilt me into anything. And there is not enough money for me to step into someone's office.
Mhm.
I'm an accountant. That is so unrequired.
Yeah.
And, sometimes like they're like, well, due to the managing aspects, you need to be in person. I've been working remote since 2020. Got
Mhm.
hired on 2 jobs and they were all remote, and we're managing just fine.
Mhm.
We're just fine. So it's always just so funny to me when people are just like, "Oh, well, but if they're gonna give you 200,000, isn't that worth it?" No, not with my family.
And see, that's so funny that I'm moving into that era of I can't be bought, go away, they're my requirements kind of thing. It's
Right.
giving. And it's also like, we talk about authenticity, being like your true baddie self. And that to
Yeah.
me, everything to say, you know what, no, I'm good. I'm good on that. I'd like for these things to, and it's not like in an arrogant way, it's in a confident and reassured kind of way. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I mean, because we all have our talents. We know what our strengths are, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like you're probably applying to this job. You know that you're qualified. You know that you can do these things. You have
Mm-hmm.
proven these skills. So it's okay to ask for what you want. And if they won't give it to you, then like you've got to decide, okay, is the con of this uh, too bad? Like, does it weigh itself out? Um, but yeah, I mean, anytime somebody would try to get me a job and it says on site or hybrid, I'm like, no, thank you,
And
no,
that,
thank you.
yes, like knowing what works best for you, right?
Hmm.
And knowing what you're offering in exchange that's what negotiating is about, truly. It's like, what are your concessions? Like, things you're willing to like give, here you go. I'm
Hmm.
willing to work extra, I don't know, 30 minutes for those people who have to get in and get out from work, what have you. But I'm not conceding on this work from home part. I'm not conceding. It's a thing. And sometimes I feel like when you are confident and you know what you're like willing to give on what you're not, and like you start like showing in your demeanor, like your body language, your tone of voice, all the things. I personally feel like it's better for you to have those things that you're saying actually no on, because it gives it like a degree of respect. You know what I mean? Like people are like, oh wait, what do you mean? It's like dating. I'm telling you. When
Don't know what that's like. Don't. That sounds really stressful. I have a 17-year-old who is dating. She's in her promiscuous era now, and I love that for her. Like, do whatever.
Mhm.
Just be safe. But like hearing all of the things,
You don't want to be back on the street now. The streets are not for
I'm
me.
not for I'm not for the streets anymore.
Mhm.
Okay, I did it in my late 20s. It was fun. Like I don't regret any of that, but it's just like no, thank you.
Mhm.
But like you said, it's like after my divorce, it was like when I moved into the next relationship, I knew things that I wanted in my next relationship, so that I could go into it confidently.
Mhm.
So it's, I mean, like you said, it's the same thing, but it's just I know what I want so clearly that you can't, like, I and the worst part is when like you tell them something and then they're like, okay, but how about this? No,
Mhm.
no.
I'm telling you, it's just like dating. And I was talking about my article, Confessions of an Office Pick Me,
Mm-hmm.
recently, and how, you know, when you're dating, or even just in the comment section, and there's the pick me, and there's the, you know, the girl that's just like, I'm not like other girls. And they're just,
Every time you spit out my water, stop it.
like, I'm not like other girls. I was that girl at the office. I was like,
Okay.
not like other workers. What do you need? I could be anything for you. No, no, you don't have to pay me extra for staying late. Even though this is cutting into my family time, I'm yours. And it's pick me energy at the office. And so when you go out and you're dating and you find somebody that's just like, they want to be your everything, you're like, okay, wait a minute. You're hiding something, or you don't know yourself well enough.
Great.
And exactly,
Yes.
interviews, they're like, you're hiding something, or you don't know yourself very well if you don't have things that you are like hard about. You know what I mean? And I think as we get older, we're like, no, I'm not
And
gonna.
so it's so funny because that was me. Like
Hmm.
when I was like in my late 20s, like early 30s, like I was going above and beyond. And then I ended up having to take a leave and do like an intensive outpatient program because like I literally had like a breakdown, and it made me real. I was like, I don't really want to be like the go-to person on how the fax machine works. I don't want to be when I tell you these people were older than me and they didn't know how to work the damn fact.
Hmm.
How? So
So
yeah, like I became like the expert for so many things, and so everybody was throwing at me, and I was like, yeah, 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 I'll take this on. And now I'm just like, here are my suggestions.
hmm.
We don't have to do it. Don't really care. I
Hmm.
don't personally have the capacity to do it,
Hmm.
but if we switch some of my tasks around, I would be willing to handle this. Um, and so like now it's very important for me to like look at what I have to do on the job on a daily basis and see if it's even possible for me to take on a project, because I will volunteer for projects. Like that's not, I'm not saying I won't, but I will be very clear about, hey, I'm not going to be able to do this like on this timeline because of
Hmm.
XYZ. So if you have someone else that can take on maybe this thing or that thing, then
Hmm.
I can put my full energy into it. But otherwise you're getting what you give. Okay. Like this is I got too much on my plate.
Hmm.
And it's but yeah, no, now I'm just like
Yes.
I
Not
don't
it. You don't
I
see.
don't
You go ask somebody.
I don't work here.
Not here.
I avoid talking to human beings so much. The only reason that like I'm hardcore going about these macros is because it's going to make my life easier,
Mm.
and because the higher ups have mentioned it for like other Excel spreadsheets that we use. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, you know what though? I would feel very honored if I was the one who figured out the macro for this.
Fact.
So this I have time for, because it
Mm-hmm.
also benefits me. You
Mm-hmm.
know, sometimes projects don't necessarily trickle down to like make your job easier, but in
Mm-hmm.
this case, this is going to make my job easier overall. So I'm like, okay, that I can do. Everything else,
Let's
thank
not
you.
say we did.
No, thank you. I don't want it. Please
Yes.
ask someone else. Like, please ask Shirley. I'm sure she'd be willing to help. Me, on the other hand, like, I have hard work-life balance, like,
Mm.
uh, boundaries. Like, don't, and like, so like, when I need to like work overtime, I have no problem with that. But like, I have a hard cutoff. Like 7 p.m. That would be 12 hours for me because I log in at 7 in the morning.
Ooh.
I am no longer functioning.
Mm-hmm.
I can't. I'm going to be useless. So I have to log off so that I can go do other things.
But then
And
also
like,
be like, you don't have to be at the end of your gas tank to like fill up again. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to like there shouldn't I'm trying to get like you one day. I'm trying to be like you with a hard stop. No, no, no. It's 5:30. I'm leaving, and you can find someone else to do that. I'm trying to get like that. I am an overworker. I'm a people pleaser through and through, but I'm trying so hard to get like you.
ma'am, listen, join the membership, okay? The membership, we will fix all of that.
Yes, thank you.
Honestly,
Get
it's
there.
just, the reason why I started HBIC is because I saw a lot of people doubting themselves. I saw a lot of people talking negative about themselves. And I'm like, I'm going to need y'all to stop talking about my friends this way.
Mm,
And it's just so important for me because I was a people pleaser. And not that I don't still have those tendencies, because I'm human and I'm always, there's going to be backslide. But now it's more just kind of like, hold on, Selene, we don't do that anymore.
mm,
So I can't. I'm too freaking old to be bothered with half of this nonsense. Okay. Like I turned 38 this year, so excited about it. I'm like, ooh, I got 2 years to 40. I was like, I'm gonna be such a baddie in my
mm.
40s.
Giving.
Loving this for me. But it's also like I'm 38. You can't con me. I'm not 20 anymore. Like I know my worth. I know my value. And if you don't see it, that's a you problem. But I'm not gonna let you thinking that I'm not doing enough, you thinking that my tasks are not being completed in your time frame, even though I met the deadline, affect how I feel about myself.
Absolutely.
Because that's not my problem. Okay. Listen, I
Mm-hmm.
have a deadline. I completed it. I was like, it is 3:30. I was like, I understand we are in close. I said, but I don't have anything else to do. I'm not going to sit here waiting for another hour for a report maybe to show up. And
Mm-hmm.
it was funny because I didn't turn my work apps off on my phone yesterday, after I logged out and I had to go run errands. And literally, the minute I get in the car, I got one of the reports I needed. I was like, this is a Monday problem. You know what? It's not due until Monday, end of day
Mm-hmm.
anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So, but old me would have gotten that email and panicked and been
Mm-hmm.
like, wait, we've got to go back. We've got to do it. But my work apps on my phone turn off at 5 p.m. automatically. So, like, if it wasn't done before 5 and you need me to come back online after 5 p.m., you need to text me. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to have to text me. And I was like, that is only allowed, however, during close. The other days of the month, when I log off at 3:30, I'm done. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I need to take care of myself. I need to do that. And I see so many people who are like, I can't say no.
Oh my God. It me. It me. Well, honestly, we talked about February being such a hard month, work wise. And and I had my performance review a little later than I should have. For
Me too.
was
You
postponed.
go first. You
It's
go first.
like, why are we late? But I digress. And I wasn't really like pressed about it, but this year I was like, It's going to be my year. I have all the notes, the receipts, all the things. I've got an article if you really want an example, like a scholarly article. I mean, like, I pulled out all the stops. And it's not the first time I've done that. Like, it's giving
You're
crazy
so
walls.
organized, and I'm just like a chaos gremlin, really. I mean, I love it for me, but I'm just literally my brand, my marketing, everything I do, feral goddess, because I I can't. And and I say that, I'm so sorry to interrupt you. I say that because it's like I can change a lot of things, but I think about some of the things that I'm like I can't change. And it's really not that I can't. I just don't want to. It's not harming me. It's not
Mm-hmm.
harming anyone else. It's not like a personality thing that I need to work on to be a better human. It's
Mm-hmm.
literally just a feeling, and I'm like, I don't feel like doing that.
It's a breath.
So
Listen. The way.
I'm very self-aware. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's like I said, I jump from A to Z. I miss all the steps, and then I get to Z, and I'm like, oh shit, I didn't. Okay. So, but because I've done this so many times, and I know that about myself, I'm like, okay, babe, take a step back,
Mm-hmm.
look at the big picture. What are you missing? What do you need so that this can work? But
Mm-hmm.
anyway, go back to your performance review. Let's
Oh,
hear about it.
girl, I love it when we go on tangents. Or it's giving. It's always the best. Anyhow, we're like, I digress. So, so I'm in my performance review, and they're like, you know, we think you're a great person. However, however, you get an assignment or a task, and then you just kind of find a rabbit hole, and then you just find another and another and another. And I'm like, I'm sorry, did you not want like somebody who does more? Like, I was giving you more, because it's always like I see something. It's crazy wall. Okay, I see something, and I'm like, but then this, and then this. Are they related? Can I do like? It's always like I'm always thinking a little bit more ahead than I probably should,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so they're like, we think you, we think you need to dial it back a hair. We think you're a little bit outside of your lane. That's not what we hired you for. And I was just like, oh, oh, okay. So they put me on a performance improvement plan. Put me on a plan.
Stop it.
And I was like, oh, first of all, I'm like, I have HR background, right? And so I'm always like, um, not me. I know the things that I should do to not, get to that point. Things like talking to your manager ahead of time if you start seeing things like not meeting deadlines or things that are like not clear about your task and stuff. And I did all the things, right? But it comes out in other conversations with other leaders and other staff members, like subordinates and stuff, that they're like, um, actually, I think so and so is intimidated by you, and and you, and this is their like way of telling you like to fall back, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I go through the month of February, I do my performance, extras and stuff, things like, explaining extra about like my task and daily like emails. This is what I did and this and such, and going above and beyond, because I was like, I'm already going above and beyond, but now I have to really like show all the things and connect the dots for you and all this stuff. And my supervisor, something you said earlier that like triggered me. He was like, there is, what did he say? He said something like, we were messaging about like a task, and I said, I don't feel comfortable asking you questions. I also feel like when I explain things, you dismissed me, and that's not helping me understand what you need and what the next person is doing and so forth. And he said something, and he sent like this like 5 paragraph response back, and like basically the person who was handling my pip like experience and stuff, it was a month-long pip, and he was just like, we're not doing that. And then he reassigned me to another person, and I was like, thank you so much, because there are people out there who go above and beyond, and it's well meaning, and you just have to kind of steer them in the right direction. And I don't think that it's fair for somebody to say you need to do more, and then when you do more it needs to be even more. It's no, there's a cutoff. I need to tell you, this is my boundary, this is what I
Mm-hmm.
can do, what I can't do. And yeah, we're not doing that in the year 2024. We are not doing that. It's all about audacity for me. we are all, my word for the year is audacity, and no.
We're not letting these people's jobs stress us out. That's what we're not doing that. It's so funny that you were saying that you go through the rabbit holes. I used to rabbit hole so bad. Nobody ever noticed it somehow. I don't know. Okay. So like this is a little brag. I am a very efficient person.
Oh, good.
Like things that would take other people, say, the entire day, I could get done within like 4 to 5 hours. So then I have all this time to do whatever I want. But I understand that some people don't have that. But then for me, I'm like, I'm not saying that you're not intelligent. What is your process? What are you doing? Let's make your life easier, because sometimes like I'm doing things and I'm like, you have a license that I don't have, and yet you are not completing a task that can take 30 minutes. What are you doing? That's always my question. What are you doing? Because they have to be doing something that they probably don't need to be doing, that they are unaware that there's a better way. And I really hate this is how it's been done.
Gag.
I hear you.
That part.
But what I'm thinking is that worked in 1999. Okay, it's 2024. We have so many things that can help us automate and do things. But what I learned is that I can only go so far as getting people to co-sign on what I'm saying. And I used to like attach so much of myself to those situations to where I'm like, I don't like my idea. What do I need to do? Do I need to make it better? Now I'm just like, here's the method I use. Take it or leave it. I don't care. Maybe it'll help you. Because what I don't like though is gatekeepers. People who find better ways to do things and they don't share that knowledge.
At all. Yes.
Like, it doesn't mean you have to do it that way, but like, dude, if you know a shortcut, let me know. Like, I told one of my coworkers, I was like, I'm trying to learn macros. I was like, because as like a guy from another department, I was telling him like my complaints about us copy and pasting and all this. He was like, if you can learn how to write macros, he was like, that will, sir, what do you mean? Please do so. And, but it was so because I'm like, this man does not even know me. This is the first conversation we have ever had, and he is giving me tips on how to be more efficient. So I told my coworker, I was like, I created a macro. I was like, I'm not really good at it yet, but I was like, as soon as I am, I will share everything with you. Also, I'm trying to figure out a macro for something else, but like I did create 2 more macros. So I have 4 macros that I've written. Since I started doing these, I would say like maybe like November. I just don't have like a ton of time to like really like research and play with the things. But like some months like it's a little easier and I do, or like as I'm waiting on things and I'll just kind of, look at it. But like everybody's like stupid excited about the fact that I'm learning macros. And like there are people who are like so much smarter than me in certain areas. And I'm like, how come? I was like, but also I don't know anything, guys. And I think that's one of the things that I do in the workplace now is I do not enter any situation as if I know something. I play dumb every single time. And it's not because I'm trying to like garner sympathy. I need to make sure that I'm 100% clear on what it is you are asking me to do. And if you assume that I know something, you're not going to give me all the details. The way that I operate is really like, I need all of the details and then I just need to go do it. But like if you give me these half responses, like I got an email from my boss and she's like, we need to do this. Can we hop on a call? I'm not sure I understand what you need. Like I thought I did it right, and I'm not saying that you're wrong, but I'm confused and so like we get on the call, I was like, okay, you could have used some more words. I mean, like therapy here, like it's in my thought process, like misunderstandings, disagreement, all those things happen because we don't use the words that we actually mean, and we don't use enough words to get our message conveyed so other people can understand it. So I am naturally an over explainer,
Ugh.
and like people think that I over explain like from like a sense of like I'm not confident. No, no, no.
Mm-mm.
Listen, I don't want you to ask me a second time.
That part. And you don't want to be burned. They are quick.
I need you to understand exactly what I need, what I'm telling you, that sort of thing. I was like, I will give you a whole entire manual with screenshots because I'm really good at that. I wrote a manual at the bank that I worked at in Florida. We were testing this integration in between the teller software and our cash machine. So I wrote the manual on how to use it because we were testing it. And so like there were errors and things. And so as those things came up, I wrote the manual. They scrapped the project, but I did write a manual. And so I talk about that all the time because that is an accomplishment. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's an accomplishment. But yeah, I over explain because I need to be very clear. And the way my brain works, sometimes I live in this world where I think people are just going to understand me with like two words. So
Mm-hmm.
I know that I don't always communicate clearly if I don't think through it and say, okay, I'm going to explain this in layman's terms. But you know, this skill did very well for me when I was auditing
Mm-hmm.
because I had a coworker. Every time he would give like the audit findings, like there was like arguments and they were upset and they were angry. It was like his tone and the way that he explained things. But every time I gave these requests, they were like, you know, we can't really do that. Do you have any other suggestions? I do. I have more. I have more. I came
I got
prepared.
you.
I know what we can do instead. And if
Mm-hmm.
we can't do it, I mean, guys, it's going to be a finding. I'm so sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And I make sure that I treat people like humans because especially like I hope none of my listeners are auditors. I'm so sorry for you. Um, but a lot of times auditors are just very like just straight and narrow. Like there's no, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that it's not, but also the way you approach these people who are not following the processes, the procedures at whatever they have in place matters because you don't want to make these people, because a lot of times the way that my coworker came across was basically telling these people that they don't know how to do their job. The
Mm.
way I presented it is that I know you know how to do your job. Maybe you forgot a step.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there was circumstances where you were like, I don't have time to go through all of the things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I follow that up with why it's a risk not to follow these rules. And people received that better.
Mm-hmm.
But when you just go in there and they were like, you didn't provide this documentation, you didn't keep this documentation, you didn't do like that is
Defensive. They'll get defensive.
to get defensive. Um, I was supposed to talk about my performance review.
Please do. Look, where's the tea?
So last year, I switched managers at the end of last year, but last year I had my performance review like at the end of January. They're due like the third week of February. Maybe it's the second week of February, because like the last 2 weeks after all the reviews are in, that's when the higher ups have the compensation talks.
Mm.
And then at like the end of February, like first week of March, that's when we know what our compensation is. So we get paid out for our bonus, and then our pay raise goes into effect.
Mm.
Um, but this year it was due on the 16th. Well, I was on PTO on the 16th, and I needed to acknowledge it by the 16th. So I had a one-on-one with my manager, and I wasn't sure if like we were going to discuss it there because again, not a performance review put on my calendar at all. Um, so that was on Wednesday the 14th, and then she canceled it. I was like, man,
Absolutely
not
not.
that I not that I want to have a one-on-one because I just it's not necessary for me, but if it's necessary for you, I can adapt. I'm an adaptable person. I don't personally have anything that I need to talk to you about because I'm going to talk to you as things happen. So I sent her an email and I was like, hey, I see that you canceled our one-on-one. Not sure if you were going to do the performance review then, blah, 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 blah. So she schedules it at my off time on Thursday. Fine, whatever. I have to
Whatever.
I have to acknowledge this, and I'm not logging in tomorrow to do so. So we have it. She says great things, and mind you, I was really scared she was gonna like try to like be mad at me
Mm,
because the transition did not go very well. We don't work very well together.
mm.
I think that's like just a mutual agreement that we have had, and like so we just make it work because they wouldn't let me switch back. So do the best that I can here. But like she was like, you did really great, and she was like, you're learning this. She was like, I would just continue to do this and continue to do that, and I was like, okay, okay, okay. So I was like, all I know is as long as I got all the requirements for me to get the full bonus, I honestly could give two craps what else is said in here. So I'm waiting for her to submit it so that I can acknowledge it. So I send her a message because I know what needs to be done, but like I don't want to be like, hey, I need you to submit this. I'm trying to be
Mhm.
like,
You don't want
maybe
to
it was passive
be it.
aggressive.
Oh
I have
yeah,
to ask my therapist if it was passive aggressive, but I don't know. But I was like, hey, um, just curious, is there anything else that I need to do for the performance review? Because I'm
Mhm.
like, girl, it is 4. I want to log off. Like, I have things to do. Um, and her response was like, no, it's just for us people leaders. And I was like, it's not though, because I'm looking at the performance review cycle information, and it says team member, not people leader. Team
Mhm.
member must acknowledge. So I
It,
didn't
it's so basic.
I didn't say that to her, but like 2 minutes later, she's like, I'll go ahead and submit it in case there is something you need to do.
I bet you will. I hate that. I hate that. I've been through it. Let me tell
But I
you.
was like, you know what, that's okay. Just a minute so I can move on about my life. And so she did. And sure enough, what did you think happened? I needed to acknowledge it.
I was right. I was right.
But you know what? I didn't say anything to her. I didn't say I told you so. I just was like, because my stepfather told me never to argue unless you know that you are right. And I hold on to that advice in all life situations because I'm not going to come for you unless I have receipts, scholarly articles, witnesses, whatever is necessary to make sure that you don't
Typically,
think I'm pulling shit out of my ass. And
exactly.
like, there was one time where like we were having a conversation, it was not going well. I actually like kind of yelled at her, and I did not care because I was fed up. um
In there.
but like, she said to me, she was like, I reply to all your emails. So I sent her the email that she had not replied to because I
Oh, that was me. When he sent 5 paragraphs back, I'm like, no, 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 no. I think he prior to that, I had said something. We had a whole like back and forth, like paragraph, paragraph. No, no, paragraph, paragraph. No, no, paragraph, paragraph. And I'm like, why are we doing this? Are we not leaders? Are we not professionals? Let's act like it. Yes.
it's so ridiculous. And then like my favorite was like, I was like, this is what you told me to do. And she says, show me my email.
Gladly.
I mean, okay, but it's going to say the exact same words that I just said to you because I was reading your email as I was saying it to you. But
That.
sure,
Mm-hmm.
whatever you need. And so I think, people are like, oh, you can't do that. You can't act like that. And I was like, yes, there is an approach that needs to be had from a professional aspect. I was like, but I'm going to let you know that I am passive aggressive, I am petty, and I am a fucking shit disturber. But if you take me into HR's office, there is not a thing that they can say. Hello, why are we here? And they're like, well, it seems that you were, could you please show me where there was an issue? I'm not understanding. I was like, they said I didn't do something, so I replied with where they told me not to do something. Please,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not saying that I'm always right, but like, could you give me the example of that? Like, I just can't,
Mm-hmm.
So it's always just like, I'm also, I've worked with so many different personalities too that like I can just adapt to people. But the best part about working remote is that nobody can see my face because I don't know her and I have no control over her. And
Facts.
like, there are just days where like I'm like, what do you what?
Right.
I was,
Oh,
and then
Lord.
I screenshot it and then I send it to someone else to see if maybe I'm just not intelligent in this area today. And that's
Mm-hmm.
fine because, like I said, I don't know everything. I
Mm-hmm.
am not smart in all areas of life. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm good at certain things and I know that. And I'm not one of those people who's like, please work on your weaknesses. Let's let's not though. Like, I mean, obviously, like if it's a weakness in something that you are interested in like being better, work on that. But like if it's just a weakness, like don't put effort into something that you're not necessarily good at, that you don't even really care about. Like,
Mm-hmm.
use that knowledge that it's not something you're good at to know how to move through any situation that that weakness is going to show up,
Mm-hmm.
and know what you need. Like, do you need extra resources? Do you need to find a person who's that smart? Like, I literally, when I think about building a team of people, it is people who are better at me than certain things. Like, my friend did my logo because
She's not. She can't.
my, I now have a virtual assistant. I'm so happy about that. She does all my social media scheduling. Now, I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
However, I don't want to do that. And if
No.
there is a human being
Mm-hmm.
in said world who would like to do that for me for exchange for money, worth it.
Points, please, because
Yeah,
I mean, you have so many other things that you can put your energy and your brain power into. I just feel like
right.
it shouldn't be frowned upon, and it shouldn't be something that people talk down to someone for accepting. You know what I mean? Like people try to like, oh, poo poo on people who like take on these like virtual assistant or just as assistant anything. And I should know because
Yeah,
I have an assistant for always an assistant, never a boss. Like it's always like you always tack on the assistant. Why? Just yeah. But I mean, I'm just saying, like people will poo poo on it and say, oh, you're one time, well, many a time, really. But like when the men, when the men come in the room and they're just like, "Can you get me some coffee?" and we're like, "You can get your own because I am not." If it's like I'm not in that position. Well, moreover, you can do it yourself. You know what I mean? No, we're not doing. No, we're not doing that. And I think that if you know your ministry, if you know you're good at it, and you know that the other things that you're not good at, or you could be spending more on the things that you are. I want to say there was like a Wall Street Journal article, and I think show notes later. I'll send something to you that says when you have a weakness and you have a strength, and you're trying to figure out if you should beef up your weaknesses or like keep going with your strengths. It 9 times out of 10 you should go with your strengths. Keep going
right.
with your and then
Yeah,
outsource or re-strategize or restructure whatever it is that needs to be done around those weaknesses.
yeah.
I mean,
I just, what's funny about that too is because in in the course of the membership, like one of the things is acknowledging your weaknesses, but not like letting those hold you back. It's like acknowledging things that don't serve you, but not letting those things hold you back. How can you use where you are to still
mm-hmm,
meet your goals? Like, if you know that you are really bad at time management, it's like find small tools to make it manageable so that you can propel forward, but don't spend like spinning your wheels for hours and days and months trying to figure out like a whole time management system. No, don't do
mm-hmm,
that. Just figure out what the bare minimum is so that you can manage your time in an effective capacity for you to do what you need to do. And this also like comes back to like the comfort zone thing. Honestly, I always feel like when people say get you have to get out of your comfort zone, it's about something that yes, you would be great at, but you don't actually want to do it.
mm-hmm,
Like, it's an opportunity there, but you're not like your internal, yeses are not there. It's like
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
probably not.
Listen to your
So
gut and there for
yeah,
it.
yeah. And I think it's more important for people to stretch themselves than to stress. And I
Like,
always feel like when people are coming out of their comfort zone, it's
mm-hmm,
causing stress. So it's like, okay, so this is your comfort zone. How can we stretch? And this is the important part. How can we stretch enough to continue to get to where you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not about what your boss thinks you're going to be great at, but you're secretly like, yeah, I want the money, but also I don't want that title because that sounds
Mm-hmm.
terrible.
Mm-hmm.
It's about what you want in life. And I think that's why, like, for me, doing this podcast really out of character for me. Okay, I don't like being on videos. I don't like showing my face. Like I love showing my face, like pictures, but like actually like talking and communicating with people, or like doing like an IG live where like no, I
I
don't
don't like
like it.
that girl
So
either.
like I'm still working through that. Like that's just a thing. But also I know that like yes, my words are powerful and like people resonate with those, but also to see me and to see like the excitement and the personality and all of that, it's also going to give people another idea of what I'm like whatever. I mean,
Mm,
the words you get are the same words that I probably say to you in person, but I'm just saying, like, seeing somebody puts a face to it and makes it human. And so I had to stretch myself because
mm,
I was like, let me think about how this is going to help me get to where I want to be.
mm-hmm.
And I was like, a podcast is actually a really good idea. I was
Girl.
like, because people will talk, people will know me, people will get like tips and advice for free 99. And I love that, you know? So I
Mhm.
just, I went on my sister's podcast. That's how this all started. And it was so much fun. And I looked adorable, by the way. And um, but it was like, I was like, HBIC needs a podcast. I don't know what it's going to be about. I was like, I have not figured that part out, but we just need a podcast. And then I was like, it's the Bad Bitch Revolution. And then someone had asked me what the podcast is about, and I was like, honestly, at this point, I still don't know. And then I had a podcast episode, and I was like, I know what it's the revolution. I was like, I am leading the charge. Like I am the leader. And like this is gonna sound culty, but seriously, it's not. Please do whatever the hell you want. I don't care. But like I am leading the charge by showing up as myself, by being unapologetic, by being messy, by accepting those bad days, by not like curating my feed with
Mm,
just happiness. Like
mm.
my Instagram is just happiness because like I'll go over there. But like on Threads, like I show up as I am. It's
Authentic
like, you know,
all threads. Mm-hmm.
yeah. So but I also am just very much like thinking in my brain, it's like, okay, this the bad bitch revolution is where we're going to talk about how to be a bad bitch, how to help in the revolution. Like, what is your role in
Mm.
this revolution? It's like Casey's going to be the project manager. I don't remember which projects I'm putting her on, but like, have it. How much
Listen.
do you need to be paid? Let me figure out if it's in the budget. If we can't, I will circle back when I can. Otherwise, don't talk to me about working. Like I now, so my friend who did my logo, I didn't pay her like cash the first time, but I did end up getting her an Ulta gift card because she loves
Ooh.
Ulta. So I
Mm-hmm.
was like, okay, I was like, fine, you won't take my money, but will you take a gift card? Because
Same thing.
I can't not pay people when they do stuff for me, or at least have some sort of service exchange.
Yeah,
It's
but
like if you come to me and you're like, okay, I was like, I really can't afford your prices, but here are a few things that I can offer. If
Mhm.
I need any of those things, sure, let's talk about it. And then it's so funny because people are like, what is your rate? Don't worry about my rate. It's what is your rate?
Mhm.
And then we're going to figure out how much coaching you get from
Mhm.
that. And it's like I'm charging what I want to charge, and that's fair. And then like with the membership, when I was like, you know what, I was like, a lot of people in my audience are in marginalized communities. I
Mhm.
was like, and sourcing any kind of money for us is not an easy aspect, especially thousands of dollars,
Mhm.
especially hundreds of dollars, because systematic oppression, but we won't go there today.
Mhm. Right. And
um, yeah, another day for that. That could be a whole series, honestly.
that's
But like, I'm thinking about it, and I was like, how can I be the best me and offer the same value but at a larger capacity and reach more people.
Mm.
I saw an ad, and the universe has been talking to me. I'm listening now, okay? I'm listening. Don't yell at me. But like I saw an ad for the
Mm.
$7 membership for coaches to like grow their coaching business. I was like, I'm sorry, how are you making money? Not like it's fine, but I was just very perplexed. And
Mm.
then like I joined, and then I joined the Facebook group, and there are thousands of
Mm.
members.
Wow.
So then I was thinking, I was like, okay, babe, you're an accountant. Like, you don't do math, but pull out an Excel spreadsheet because you can do that. And I was like, at $7,
Mm-hmm.
100 members is $700.
All right, yep.
And so, like, I did my projection for the next
Mm-hmm.
year from February to February 2025. And based on my projection, because the projection is not a if, it's not a might, it is happening because I am claiming it and I'm calling it from the universe, and I
Mm.
am open to receive. But I did my projection. I'll be able to take a salary in my business February of next year.
Yes.
And none of the money that I have calculated is coming from one on one. It's
Mm.
coming from membership members only.
Mm-hmm.
And like the two people that are in my membership right now, because I'm going to be opening up for beta testers
Mm.
to help me like critique this course. But yeah, I'm just excited about it. But that's completely
Yes.
different.
Yes, yes, yes.
But like I'm getting all of this feedback, and they're like, "This is a lot of value for $7.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think so?" It's like, don't lie to me because I will be mad if you lie and say it's seriously. And they're like, no, like everything looks so professional. There's a lot of information here. And I was like, you're doing a lot for just $7. And but that's not terrible. If I could touch 100 people,
Mm-hmm.
like, yes, sign me up
Mm-hmm.
immediately. Um, and I don't think that like you're told by like the business gurus and the marketing gurus, like you have to have a high ticket offer because people don't need. And I was like, people just need to have some skin in the game. Like
Mm.
it doesn't have to be $500. They just
Right.
have to have some skin in the game to attempt to do things. I am going to introduce like a higher tier later in the year, and so I'll start a wait list for that in a couple months. But like at the higher tier, there'll be a little bit more access to me. Like they'll get weekly boxer coaching,
Mm.
um, and versus just having like the 2 live Q&A calls a month.
Mm.
And depending on like the volume, like if it starts small, I could do personalized blueprints and plans
Mm.
and different things like that. But like they'll also get their own special call. So not only will they get the 2 that are in the mini, but the main, they'll get 3 total live calls a month. Um, but I was thinking about it from like an energy and like an energy exchange aspect. Currently, with the 8 million things that I have going on this year, I can't take on a bunch of one-on-one clients. Like I
Mm-hmm.
don't have the capacity, I don't have the time.
Mm.
And I really do want to do one-on-one because I do love working individually with people. Like it gives me like a sense of accomplishment in a
Mm.
way, to be able to like really zero in on a person.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, how can I kind of like integrate that within the membership so that I'm not overwhelming myself? And my friend actually asked, she's like, well, can you do that? Do you have the mental capacity? Love her for that because I
Yeah.
never think about these things. And I was like, let me think on this. And I
Right.
was like, you know what though? I said it's not going to require any more time for me to
Mm.
do these things. If anything, it's going to require less time because I had 3 slots open for one-on-one clients, and that's every other week. And I don't like to have more than 2 one-on-ones in a week.
Mm.
That's probably going to be like every week that I'm having a call. I
Mm-hmm.
can't. I can't
Mm-hmm.
sustain. So membership it is. That's what we're doing.
It's scalable. I love that you have put different kinds of approaches that can reach different levels of people. You know what I mean? Like, if that makes sense. Um,
Yeah,
some people come for coaching and they only need like a gentle nudge, and that's small effort. And then some people need a whole comprehensive package, and it seems like you're going in that direction, or you already have it, and it's so satisfying to see that
yeah,
you've kind of mm, dissected that. You know what I mean?
yeah. I
I,
think it's partially because of like my experience with coaching and what was missing. Also, the dollar amount of that said coaching program that I instantly regret because like
I
it
was
did not need to be that. It
no,
did not need to be that. If it was like if it actually had been like a live event and there was like things in person, like I could have seen it, but it was all online and
mm,
the promises were not there. And
mm,
so that's what I'm trying to also avoid within any course or anything that I do, that I'm not over promising. I'm going to under promise you and
mm-hmm,
then you're going to be genuinely surprised.
that
Like it's like I can help you transform your life, but also you need to understand I'm just here to hold you accountable. I'm here to
mhm.
help you get through your thoughts. If you don't do it, I don't
These
know
are
what to tell you. I, I
I
don't know
also
what to tell
the $7 comment that you made where people were like, this is more value than this is incredible, it's way more than the $7. I think about the law of reciprocity,
you. Mm-hmm.
where you give something first and then it comes back to you, and people, it's tried and true. You know what I mean? You give a
Yeah.
free whatever, and people are like, oh, wait a minute, I now have to give you something back in return. And it's I think the ones that win at that are the people who are genuine, and the ones
Mm-hmm.
who are coming at it with money isn't the goal, it's helping, it's supporting, it's connecting, it's authentic, it's vulnerable, it's cherishing the dynamic, it's appreciation for one another, it's understanding where we are in this great big universe. You know what I mean? That like if I can just touch one, here I am. You know what I
And
mean?
that's always been my flaw. I'm like, if I can just touch one person, like I might feel fulfilled for the rest of my life. And I can't tell you how exciting that is.
It's the day you gave it's the day you hopped on the call and was like, I can help you, no worries. And I was like, thank you don't understand how much time you saved me. Ah. Blubbering. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's that
I was
moment.
like, I don't have anything to do right now. What do you need, there? I got you. I got it.
Help me. Help. It's like, anybody please help. Be look up. And then like afterwards I'm like, this is so simple, why did I? But you are like one of those magnetic people who just draws people out and just like calms them and makes them understand that like it's not that serious, it's not that hard.
But here's the funny thing: VLOOKUPs are simple, but
Mm,
they're also not because they get a little angry. It's like there's just one thing that's not in, and it's just like what's the problem? Because I've been doing VLOOKUP since like 2017, and there's
mm,
still times where like I can't get my VLOOKUP. What do you mean? What do you?
mm,
There's something there. Like what am I missing? And then sometimes I just need somebody else to put eyes on it, and they're like,
mm.
oh, this is not stored as a number. Oh,
Oh,
oh.
wow. With coaching where you're just like, okay, what you really need is this little tweak, and you're there like, why didn't I think of that? And it's thank you. My
Yes,
dog
I.
like my dog
That's
thought
like, oh my god.
he stop with the like, why are you so hype? I'm like, you don't understand.
And then you were like, when you shouted me out, I was like, ma'am, don't do that, because then people are gonna know that I exist,
I
and
gave you
I'm
your
not sure that I'm.
flowers.
I was like, I'm not sure I'm ready for this yet. I don't. And like,
You
I have made these posts that like are not even that serious. They're like not even that great. And like all of a sudden, like there's reshares and stuff.
still
Who
blow up
are you people?
every
Why
time.
are you the? Why are you here? What are you doing?
What did I
And I'm
do?
like, please don't do this.
Right,
I'm not
right.
sure. It's like I'm not sure that I'm ready, really
Mm,
ready for what is happening right now. But
mm,
it's so crazy to me. Um, like how people, the coaching industry, because I don't want to like just call out people because I want to, but I will not.
name names.
but the coaching industry does have a bad rap because there are lots of people in it because they're like, oh, this is easy money because there's no regulations on coaching.
Mm-hmm.
There, pretty much anybody can be a coach. And I'm not saying that like everybody can't be a coach,
Mm-hmm.
but coaching is like it's a skill. Like it's not like a job. It's just like skill. Like Lauren and I talked about this too. Um, but like coaching people is like I've always wanted to help people. My mom always used to tell me I can't save the world, but I'm like, yes, I can. You just
Oh, but
trust
why
me.
not?
Um, and it's like for a while, like I was really conflicted about doing this from a capacity of making it a business because I'm like, oh my God, I was like, I'm gonna charge people to help them, and like I guess they could buy a book maybe for cheaper. I was like, but they won't have a human being to help them be accountable, and I was like, but I'm not looking to get rich. Like if I make six figures, who needs a job? Please. I can find you a
Exactly.
job. I don't know what it is, but I am sure. Like, what do you want to do? Don't tell me your credentials. What do you want to do? And then let's figure it out. Like, I I'm not interested in making seven figures, eight figures, none of that nonsense. I am interested in making enough money to where I don't have to work for anybody else and that I can have my cute little house
Yes.
with all of the things that I want. And like
Mm.
by cute little house, I mean a 4 bedroom house because I don't want anything bigger than that. But like I can have my cute little house. I can still shop at Old Navy because, a bitch needs to go to Old Navy and I need these girlies on TikTok
Yes.
to stop talking about Old Navy because they're going to raise the prices, guys. Keep this on the DL. Why
Yeah.
are we out here? They're just so disrespectful. Um, but yeah, like, and there's nothing wrong with wanting 6 or 7 or 8 figures. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But like, that's just not my desire. And I'm
Fair.
not saying that the coaches who do want 6 or 7 figures are not in this to truly help people. You
Mm-hmm.
can tell those who make that kind of money who are still in it to help people by
Mm-hmm.
the way that they show up for their communities, by the way that they help, like what they offer. Like this $7 membership that I'm in, I kid you not. How do you have time, my love, to do all of this? She's got another one that's $27,
Mm-hmm.
similar thing. How? And she has an itty bitty, okay? Like her kid's not like a teenager, like she's got an
Mm-hmm.
itty bitty. Babe, how? How are
Girl,
you doing
still trying to
this?
figure out. I'm like, my 2-year-old's running around, my 7-year-old's running around. I'm like, oh my God, I just want to write. Okay.
And it is, yeah, it's like, please leave me alone. But
Mm-hmm.
you can tell. And I just, like, my desire is to help people first and then to earn a living.
Mm-hmm.
So, how can I do that with integrity? How can I do that and still help people that are often left out because of accessibility?
Mm-hmm.
Like I made like a little wiki page of my mission statement, my values, and the vision, and accessibility is so important to me in this
Mm-hmm.
aspect because everybody's financial situation is not the same. Like, could I afford a $37 a month membership? Yeah, but like, do I also want to? No. Like, I got tattoos to pay for, so I'm gonna be in written for but like $7, like I can swing that. And the people that are in there both were like, I thought you were gonna make this like 30, and I was like, I can't afford. They're like, this is amazing, and
Mm-hmm.
so it reaffirmed for me that this is what needs to happen. This
Mm.
is this is right. This is integrity. This is going to work for me, and I'm going to be able to touch more people because I'm not making this exclusive thing that's
Mm-hmm.
like going out of business in 5 days, so you need to get on.
Like,
Like yes,
now, right now, immediately, it's going
yeah.
away. Oh my God,
I'm like,
those
I get it. I get the psychology of that part of the
for
sales
sure.
game, but it's also just like everything is not an emergency. It's
I love that you're kind of paralleling the what is it, the nap ministry, the one where she's just like telling us to just rest, and I love that some of your brand, some of your messaging is like dial it back, okay, Because sometimes when you dial it back, you'll realize that you have more than you need, and you can be confident in that. You can rest in that. You can be joyful about it. I just give.
Yes.
It's
I'm
giving.
just all about, I don't want to do it. If it's going to be hard, I really don't want to do it. And if it's hard and I'm doing it,
Mm-hmm.
trust that I'm doing it because it's something I want to be doing. But
Authentic.
like things that don't feel good to me, like
I try to be you
I'm
one
gonna,
day.
I'm gonna need to sit on it. I'm gonna need to sit
Mm-hmm.
on it and think like, do I not feel good about this because of like a silly reason that is absolutely ridiculous because my brain just creates scenarios that don't exist, or like, am I truly just like in this and my body's like, no, babe, we don't want it. We don't want to do it. Yeah. So, yeah, yeah. Anyway,
Love it. I love it.
before we wrap up, I just love how like every single episode that I've recorded with someone else has been a tangent of any
It's love it. I
absolute
love it.
tangent.
I love it.
So pretty much literally everybody who's already been on needs to come back on for like a second time because I'm sure after this, like there's so much more we could talk about this.
Like
So
part two.
like I just yeah, like there's gonna have to be a part two. Um but is there anything else that you want to share with the people, the baddies, the bad bitches?
Patty, please know you're
Um,
please leave a little bit of it in the tank. Don't be an office pick me. Don't be a pick me in dating. Don't be a pick me period because you think that they are going to give you all the things for that energy and you are going to be sadly mistaken. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. You will be just fine. Rest on knowing that you are on the right path, that whoever your higher power is has got you. And if they don't, we do.
right. Listen. I don't know what it's like. I don't Jesus, God, whatever it is. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if you're not feeling connected, like, I mean, I am a goddess. I hope. Listen, I hope the people out there don't get mad about that, but I am. So please.
I am.
Um, but it's like I am a goddess, so like while I may not be able to create miracles with my divinity, I can, however, hold space for you while you reconnect with your higher power. Um, but yeah, no, I'm really excited because the career conversation is just it's so needed,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, obviously, like pretty much any demographic outside of you know
That's fair.
is in a situation to where they can't move forward or they're being burnt out or they don't have any boundaries and don't we're not stressing out about these people's jobs and
Mm-hmm.
like i I don't remember when I started saying that on threads but like it just like popped in my head because I'm like it's not my job like it's their job
Mm-hmm.
that I am coming in to do with my skills. But like it's still their job, it's not mine. Like I just work there. Like that's
Leave a little in the tank. I'm telling you because you will drink the Kool-Aid and you'll be sadly mistaken. You'll get there and you'll think you got to do more and more and more, and you're like, no. Be strategic about it, like you were with your assignment. You're like, this is going to get me to a better place. I'm going to go ahead and say yes. This is also something I like to do or I want to do, and so that's not
yeah,
going to burn me out and use so much energy. You're going to be fine.
right, right, yeah, yeah. So okay, I can't wait, Sheree. I'm
Why
so
did you do the
excited.
same thing? We're like,
I'm so excited about the second episode. I don't care what we talk about, quite frankly. And that's just the funny thing too, is because like there doesn't like people have themes and like things come up, and I'm just kind of like whatever you want to talk about, I'll talk about anything. I'll probably go off onto 17 tangents because my brain just can't stay in its lane. But you know what? Will come full circle. Like it'll
we
all make
every
sense.
time. Yes,
Like it'll come back. It's
it'll be
fine.
fine. It's fine. You did great. You did great. You're
All
going to do.
right.
You're doing great.
Beautiful people, thank you for listening or watching. Casey is also a goddess, whether she believes it or not, because I said so. And we will see you next time.
Mm-hmm. Every time. All the time.